Now, the other sheet that I give you guys that I'm going to talk about is the lease addendum. And what is that lease addendum, right? That lease addendum, guys, is basically in one pager. That one pager basically allows you to operate your business in any building and never do business unless they sign this piece of paper. Okay, it's very, very important. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like right now. Okay. This lease addendum is it's very helpful, and you need to have it signed by the landlord, the owner, the property manager. Okay. So basically, writing your date, the landlord, the company, whatever they're called, you, the tenant, your LLC name. Okay. And it said the landlord and tenant entered the lease dated for whatever for the premises located at where the address is. Okay. Okay. The lease is amended as follows. The landlord permits, for example, HS Property Holdings LLC, which is my business, to host tenants / guests of childlearners.com, furnishfinder.com, Expedia, Zillow, Airbnb, VRBO, apartments.com, and other similar companies at blank address during the full term of the lease. Okay. That right. And then after that, landlord signs, you sign, and that's it. This part right here, okay, is an amendment. Every single lease you sign in America, okay, every single lease says no subletting allowed. Okay, that's fine. This is an lease addendum, right? It's amending that clause, right? So it's allowing you to sublet the apartment on Airbnb. This right here is the bread and butter of operating your business. This right here is the holy grail. This is the paper that has to be signed. That permission is granted. Yes, you can now market on Airbnb. There have been instances where you have a verbal agreement with the landlord, and the landlord sells the building. You're operating for a year. The landlord sells the building. The new landlord is like, "Hey, you're not allowed to do Airbnb. It's illegal." All right, and then you're gonna say, "Actually, the last landlord was cool with it. He allowed me." He's gonna say, "Nope, doesn't matter. You don't have my permission. Get out." Well, if you have the lease addendum, you're gonna say, "Actually, sir, during this duration of my lease, I'm allowed to, as governed by this piece of paper here that says I'm allowed to sublet and host guests on Airbnb." Right? If you don't have that, you have nothing to fall back on. Right? And it's happened to my friends, it's happened to my colleagues. Management has changed, buildings been sold, and they didn't get this lease addendum signed. They got fucked. Like they literally had to just leave because the landlord literally said, "I don't have anything in writing. I don't even talk about it. You're doing this illegally. Get out." It's happened a lot. I'm telling you. Always have this paper signed no matter what. Okay. A strategy I use is once the conversation is going, everything's going well, they're giving you units, say yes to Airbnb, don't give this paper to them right away. When they send you the lease to sign, then you send this back to them saying, "Hey, thanks. I just got the lease to sign it right now. I sent you my addendum. Could you please sign it for me?" And this is a quick one pager allowing us to operate our business. Nothing fancy. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do. Once that's signed, you're good to go. You're in the clear no matter what happens legally. Does anyone have any specific questions regarding this?
Yes, I do. Quick question is, so you would sign, first of all, you sign the contract that is provided by the apartment.
Yep.
Right? And the end, you will provide this couple of sheets of paper with your addendum on that. Is that right?
Yep.
And if one more question is, I'm sure there might be management, the property managers or the management company that changes the ownership of the apartments. So let's say after 6 months, the new management comes into play. And if you don't have that management company on this agreement, don't you think it's the addendum is invalid?
No, it's not, right? Because that's not how leases work. Like if I am living in a building or, in a new management company buys it, doesn't mean I have to leave tomorrow, right? That lease is already in place with the previous management company, right? Just because someone's buying the building doesn't mean all other leases and contracts are void. That's not how it works in real estate.
So do you have a minimum of 1 year or 2 year lease? What is your
so I always try to negotiate 2-year leases. All my units in Detroit are all 2 years. Philadelphia was like 18 months. Dallas, I have some 2 years, some 15 months, some 18 months. A lot of companies like to stagger it. Just whatever we can negotiate. The longer lease, the better, right? Because for you, you're solving the landlord's problem of vacancy. You're solving their problem of tenants, turnover. If you ask any landlord in America, what is your number one cost for losing money? Why do you lose money? What's your biggest bottleneck? Where do you bleed from? They're going to say tenant turnover. When a tenant moves out, they then have to repaint the unit, re-clean the unit, fix anything they broke. Then they have to let that unit sit vacant on the market the next month or 2 months to find a new tenant. Then let's say a real estate agent then has to get them a new tenant. Then to pay the real estate agent a commission. Then that new tenant comes in, you have to pay for a fee, processing fee. Then you have to basically vet them and make sure they're good to go. Then they're going to get the unit for 2.5 months. So the landlord already lost 3 months, maybe 2 months of vacancy that he would have not lost if you were in there because you're never going to leave, right? And he had to pay a commission to a real estate agent. So you're telling landlords, This is our business proposition. This is the value I am bringing you. They are literally jumping with joy because, wow, you're literally going to save my tenant turnover problem. If you never want to leave, that's amazing. I'll never have to, pay for vacancy. I'll never have to pay commission to an agent. I'll never have to pay to get the unit repainted. I'll never have to do any of those things, right? So you have to provide value to make sure the owner, the landlord says yes to your business model. They will sign this with no problem.
Quick question. Does this work in Canada, the addendum?
So I don't know where. So depending where in Canada, Ontario, yeah, it does.
Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You just have to make sure in Ontario you're allowed to short-term rental. Like in Toronto, you're not allowed. Like the laws are really strict. But I know people in Oakville who are killing it. Brampton who are killing it. Niagara areas are killing it. So just gotta make sure you're not specifically in Toronto.
Got it. Thanks.
Where are you from?
I live in Oakville.
Okay, yeah. So I'm saying I know people in Oakville who are killing it. So make sure you're not in Toronto. That's it.
So when you do apartment shopping for your Airbnb, do you tell them in the beginning that you're going to do for Airbnb, or you tell them at the very end?
No, you tell them in the beginning, right? That's the whole point of the sales pitch process. When you're calling buildings, you're telling them we are a corporate short-term rental housing provider, right? We market our properties to traveling professionals, to travel nurses, to business professionals, people staying for leisure, right? We vet all of our guests regardless of the third-party booking platform you choose, whether it's travelnurse.com, Airbnb.com, VRBO.com, Zillow.com, apartments.com, furnishfinder.com, doesn't matter. Airbnb is literally just an online travel agency. If some buildings are okay with VRBO and booking.com, but not Airbnb, then they're idiots. It makes no sense. Why are you okay with some, but not the other? Just because Airbnb has a bad name in the news right now, doesn't mean, you're going to say no to Airbnb flat out. 95%, 98% of booking travel comes from Airbnb. I don't know about you guys, but I'm 25 and my demographic, nobody knows what the heck booking.com is. No one uses that. No one uses Expedia. Nobody uses VRBO, honestly. Everyone my age all uses Airbnb. That's the #1 OTA booking platform, right? So if a building is allowing other, third-party booking platforms, they should allow Airbnb with no issues whatsoever, because it doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't. It's just a booking, it's just a marketing channel. It's all it is.
Fair enough.
Any questions about this page before I put it away?
One more.
Yeah.
So do you wait to send back your signed lease until they send you this piece of paper back?
Yeah, so it really depends how I play it. So what I like to do is I like to pressure buildings a lot. They'll send me the lease, and I'll send them the lease addendum, and I'll tell them, hey, I just sent over the lease. I signed it. Can you please send me back the lease addendum right away? I won't actually attach anything. I'll just send them that email, and they'll send me the lease addendum right away. All right, I'll do little things like that just to get them to quickly sign it right away. Don't think too much about it. In sales, guys, the longer somebody has to think about a decision, the higher the chance goes of them saying no or changing their mind. Okay. In sales, when you're closing, you have to close fast. And the faster you close, the faster you can basically get them to take away rational thinking. Okay. Or just basically make the deal happen. Right. So a lot of times they're like, hey, I just signed the lease literally 5 minutes ago. Can you send the lease in right away? We can get started. Okay. Or I need that signed right away. Before I sign the lease in, right. Play with them in a way where I need that signed right away. That way I can send you the lease back. All right. Close the deal as soon as possible. Once the lease is signed and this is signed, oh, you're good to go. The deal is closed. You're off the races.
Did you get any backlash from those guys who wouldn't sign the last minute?
No, nothing. That's how sales works. You gotta close people. You gotta be closing. You gotta close them quick. You gotta tell them, I just signed it. Can you please send it to me? I'm waiting. I need to go order my furniture.